I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee. Yo-do-do-do-dee. I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee.
The leaves are falling down, the decorations are going up, and on this episode, we're celebrating spring. A special interview on how you can keep the apple blossom spirit and festival pride all year long with the first ever official Vanity license plate that commemorates the Shenandoah Apple Blossom Festival. My guests on this episode are the driving force behind this idea, Tommy and Marcy Obenchain Keller. Right now, though, with the holidays on the horizon, this brainbuster question. 22% of people have had this happen to them at either Thanksgiving or Christmas. Have had what happen to them? Is it A, food poisoning, B, had an argument with a relative, or C, accidentally burped or passed gas aloud? The answer revealed at the end of the podcast. And while we're in that holiday spirit, a brief word about the Chain of Checks campaign that's underway. This year, our campaign theme is providing shelter. The 4 charities that we're raising funds for include the Winchester Area Temporary Transitional Shelter, or WATS, the Winchester Rescue Mission, Blue Ridge Habitat for Humanity, and the Laurel Center Intervention for Domestic and Sexual Violence. We have a variety of fun fundraisers to help us meet the goal. The Friday after Thanksgiving, November the 29th, it's Walking in a Winter Wonderland at Clearbrook Park. Chain of Checks will receive half the opening gate. To purchase tickets and to see the entire schedule, log on to fcprd.net. Then on Saturday, December the 7th, it's Chain of Checks Day at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. On the morning of the 7th at 10:30, a special screening of The Polar Express. And then at 4:45, it's ELF. A portion of ticket sales will be donated to Chain of Checks. And get this, in between the movies, from 1 to 4 p.m., Chain of Checks will be set up in the Alamo lobby. It's a Facebook Live Face-a-thon, hosted by your radio family, including Lisa Herndon, Katie G, Paula Kidwell, Chris Steele, and more. Join us on Facebook every half hour, or stop by the lobby and say hi and get reacquainted with old friends. You can leave a donation or donate online at chainofchecks.com. And to put you in the Christmas spirit, the Clark County Community Band Chain of Checks Christmas Concerts. The first one is Saturday, December 7th at 3 p.m. at Clark County High School in Berryville. The second in Winchester, December the 15th, 7:30 p.m. at Armstrong Concert Hall at Shenandoah University. These are free concerts, but there will be donation boxes in the lobby. All the information that I've mentioned is online at chainofchecks.com. You can also purchase tickets from that site. Alrighty, it's time to talk about Bloom Pride. Well, we love our Apple Blossom Festival, and a way to keep that bloom spirit around all year long and to share our festival pride everywhere we travel, announcing the first ever official Vanity license plate that commemorates the Shenandoah Apple Blossom Festival. And this is a partnership with the Department of Motor Vehicles and our Virginia General Assembly, and the brainchild of a festival-loving couple. We welcome Marcy Obenchain Keller and Tommy Keller. Great to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Barry.
So tell us how this got started. This is exciting stuff.
Yeah, so it actually started last year at the festival. We were walking back to our car after the parade and talking to my mom, and she said, wouldn't it be awesome if you could get a license plate, one of the personalized license plate like everybody has on their car in Virginia? And we said, well, that's an interesting thought. We'd never thought of it. And it is kind of odd that there has never been an Apple Blossom license plate. There's so many people that love the festival, and it seemed like, something that might be possible to tackle for us. So we started looking into it, and it seemed like it wasn't really as difficult as you might think. So, we've gone through a lot of the process already, and now we're here at the point where we have a design and we're ready to go.
So when we decided to do the plate, we went to the DMV and they told us that we needed a mock-up design. So we went back and forth, myself, Tommy, Brad Veach, and Eric Zimmerman, and Eric was able to create this design, and we are so very appreciative of the hard work. We think the community is really, really going to love it.
Yeah, and we'd also like to thank Brad Veach, who stepped in and really supported us the whole way. he's been there the whole time and allowed us to kind of hopefully make this a reality with everyone's help. So, both Brad and Eric have been super instrumental in this, and we want to thank them for that.
And that design is beautiful, and we can see it if we log on to thebloom.com. So you had to do a lot of groundwork, and we're under a time crunch here, and maybe explain that to us.
Yeah, so, we've gone through the beginnings of the process over the last couple months to get a design. We've talked to Bill Wiley and Timmy French to get their support. This is a thing that needs to go through the General Assembly as a bill, and then it's signed by the governor. So we've got all that background taken care of. And like I said, now we have the design and we're ready to go. The catch is it needs to be introduced with the General Assembly on January 8th, I believe it is. So we are under a bit of a time crunch. We need to have 450 license plates signed up and paid for by January 8th. So this is kind of our call that we need to get people out there and spreading the word, right?
Yeah, this is our community ask, because if we are able to make this happen, these plates will be made within the next couple of months, and then you'll be able to display them probably even before the festival for 2025. And if we don't, we will have to table it to 2026. So this is our community ask. Like, we need you, we need your help, because we want to see these plates out on the road and all over the state and, all over the country, really, like all the Virginians traveling everywhere.
Absolutely. Shares that community pride everywhere we go. Now, as far as the cost involved, we're talking about typical vanity plate fees, right?
Yes. So these vanity plates, they are $10 per year. No money goes back to the festival. This is really just for community outreach and just to show our Bloom spirit. So how it will work is you'll fill out the form online, you'll pay your pre-order, and once the plates are made, they'll send out the plates with your current registration. So you don't have to register again. This will coincide with your current registration.
Yeah, these kind of go independent. This is on a different timeline than your registration, right? Since this has to go to the General Assembly, then it gets produced, et cetera, et cetera. So when the plates come out and they send it to you, it'll come with your current registration. So if you just re-registered, or if you're about too soon, or if you need to in 6 months, don't worry about that. This is something kind of separate from that and won't mess up your timeline with all of that.
Excellent. All right. So where do we go to sign up?
So you can go to thebloom.com, and there is a link to sign up. You fill out that form, and it has a couple of things. Like if you want a specified what you'd like on your license plate, and you'll fill out whatever personalization you'd like on the plate. You'll fill out your current tag number and your VIN number, and then you will submit your check to the festival, and that can be mailed to the festival, or it can be taken to the festival headquarters. And the address to the festival headquarters is 135 North Cameron Street in Winchester, 22601. So you can send it there to make this all happen. But yes, all of this information is on thebloom.com in the news portion. We just are really excited. Apple Blossom, this is like our town's homecoming. And so being able to display this is just something really magical. We're very excited, and we just want to make this happen, and this is the last piece. So our call to action, we're just asking for the community support here.
Yeah, it's a fun thing, an exciting thing. Marcy's been involved with the festival for years. I'm kind of newer to everything, but, we had this idea and we presented some people in Apple Blossom, and they said, yeah, we're the kind of organization that if you want to do something like this, take it and run with it and see what happens. And they've allowed us to do that, and we're excited about it, and we're excited to see this come to fruition and see all the license plates across the state.
And we're thankful for the community. I say this in, I think, the most unbiased way possible. The Northern Shenandoah Valley is the best community ever. You ask for help and they deliver, and it's just something very special to be a part of. So we're excited to be able to introduce this and to be able to share our homecoming with everyone else.
I love it. Well put. Well put. Well, Tommy, thank your mom for coming up with that idea, walking back from the parade last year.
Absolutely. I'll make sure she listens to this episode.
Absolutely. And thank you very much to Marcy Obenchain Keller and Tommy Keller. Thanks for the groundwork that you've done to make this possible and for keeping our apple blossom spirit alive all year long. We appreciate you.
Okay, we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Barry.
So much.
Doesn't that make you feel tickled pink and green all over? Before I reveal the answer to the Brain Buster, let's take a look at the podcast planner for this week, nationaldaycalendar.com. All this week, it's National Education Week. Monday the 18th, it's Mickey Mouse's birthday. Mickey born in 1928. Interesting little side note that in World War I, Walt Disney was painting camouflage on soldiers' helmets. And it was on this day, 1949, that Jackie Robinson was named the National League Most Valuable Player. Tuesday the 19th, it's National Play Monopoly Day, based on a board game that was designed by Elizabeth Magie in 1902. Now, Parker Brothers released the game in 1935, and it's estimated that 500 million people have played. As kids, we called the game Monotony. On Wednesday the 20th, it's National Education Support Professionals Day. This is the day that we honor the school contributions of school support employees, secretaries, classroom aides, cafeteria workers, maintenance workers, bus drivers, you name it, we thank you. Thursday the 21st, it's the Great American Smokeout. Good luck, we're rooting for you. The 21st is also National Stuffing Day. Seems like that ought to be on Thanksgiving Day. But anyway, the difference between stuffing and dressing: stuffing goes in the turkey, dressing is outside the turkey as a side dish. And history tells us that the first stuffing recipe shows up in a Roman cookbook. Friday the 22nd, it's Substitute Educators Day. What would we do without our substitute teachers? Friday is also National Cranberry Relish Day. I'm not a big fan of my wife's fresh cranberry relish recipe, so Thanksgiving Day, she's kind enough to put a squiggly can of cranberry jelly on the table. Saturday the 23rd, it's National Adoption Day, a reminder that there are more than 100,000 children in foster care that are waiting for permanent, loving families. And on Sunday the 24th, National Sardines Day. If you really want to be honorary, you could set out a plate of sardines on Thanksgiving Day. Talk about stinking up the dining room. Oh, and by the way, remember when I told you that I dropped my wife off at the airport? I got lost coming home and ended up on a toll road. I was in her car and she got charged. So the bill arrived in the mail addressed to her. I was relieved to see it was only $3.60, which she made me pay. All right, let's see how you did on the Brain Buster. 22% of people have had this happen to them at either Thanksgiving or Christmas. Have had what happen to them? Is it A, food poisoning, B, had an argument with a relative, or C, accidentally burped or passed gas aloud? And the answer is, I don't feel so good. A, food poisoning. Be careful with food preparation, also with how long you leave food sitting out on the table, and with leftovers. Always love the time we have here at the Breakfast Nook. There's room for more. Share my website so others can join us, breakfastwithbarrylee.com. In closing, I am so excited about Thanksgiving next week. I mean, it's the only time of the year where the 4 basic food groups are gravy, pie, stuffing, and miniature marshmallows. Have a blessed week.